Okay, we are on the point of natural law theory. The importance of natural law has been underlined by some of the jurists. Among them, according to the Blackstone, the natural law is a law which is coexistence with the mankind, and the natural law is emanated or derived from the God himself, or the source of natural law is the God himself, and therefore it is superior to all laws which are made by man or which are made by institutional devices of man. Further, he says natural law has a binding nature, or it is a binding over all countries, not only individual beings, but the state and countries are also bound by the natural law principles at all times. Means these natural law principles are universal in nature. They are not limited to a particular period or a particular locality, but they are binding at all times, and all man-made laws shall be in consonance with the law of nature. Means the law of nature, which is derived from the God himself, is superior to all laws, and therefore the man-made laws shall be in consonance with, mean it shall not be in derogation with, or the man-made law shall not violate or infringe the law of nature. Further, while underpinning the importance of the natural law, Dr. Friedman has said that the history of natural law is a tale of the search of a mankind. Means when we search for the source or the evolution of a natural law, we have to find the evolution of mankind himself. And therefore, this natural law is nothing but the basic instinct of a mankind to search for absolute justice. And therefore, Dr. Friedman says natural law is nothing but the absolute justice. Further, some of the jurists have said that the notion of natural law shall be changed with the changes in the society or socio-political conditions in the society. Natural law cannot be the one and same for every time, but according to the changing situation, the natural law or the principles and rules of natural law shall also be changed. There is no exact meaning or there is no exact definition or a universal definition of natural law, but still some of the jurists have tried to define the natural law as first, law which is inherent in the nature of man is a natural law. Which is inherent means there are certain basic qualities or basic instincts of every human being that is known as a dharma. Dharayati iti dharma means the qualities which are being held by a person are considered as a natural law, like your consciousness, your kindness, or the forgiveness. All these are the basic qualities of a human being that are known as natural law. Further, some of the jurists have said natural law is independent of any institutional devices. Means natural law is separate from any man-made law or from any legislative law, judicial law, or a customary law which are being made by the person or the man himself. Therefore, the natural law has its own independent character, has its own independent nature as such. Further, some of the jurists have said, as Dias and Hughes have said, natural law is defined as a law which derives its validity from its own inherent values. Means the natural law is its own independent, its own free, its own full. It has nothing to do with the outsider or external sources. It does not require the external support, but it is inherent. It is known as a Swayambhu. Swayambhu means it himself has certain inherent values. It does not need a recognition from the outside world or from the external world. And therefore, it himself is a valid. As yesterday we have seen that the Mahatma Gandhi has said, ahimsa and satya is the supreme qualities or is the supreme truth. Therefore, it is a natural law. Further, another jurist Cohen has said natural law is a way of looking at things. Means it is a perception of a human being. What is the perception? It is a humanistic approach which shall be adopted by judges and jurists while defining the law as such. However, some of the jurists have said natural law is a rules or a body of principles which have been originated from the supreme source. Now, the supreme source means God or from the nature itself. The natural law has derived, or a natural law are some of the principles or the rules which have been originated or evolved from the supreme source, or to which we can call as a God himself, which have been written now in the holy scriptures or the holy books like Vedas, Upanishads, Bible, Quran, etc. In these holy books we found natural law as such. Okay, now moving further, today we'll see some of the main characteristics, features of natural law, or some of the basic features of natural law. What are the main features of natural law that we are going to see today? Okay, however, now these basic features are different attributes of natural law. These attributes have been propounded by some of the jurists, and this has been summarized as follows. The natural law has a flexible meaning. The term natural law has a flexible meaning, means it is not a definite meaning, or this has not been confined in a watertight compartment. There is no watertight compartment. There is no fixed framework. There is no fixed, what we can say, iron rule. But the natural law changes with the changes in the society, and therefore the natural law has a flexible meaning. As we have seen, the natural law is inherent in human being. Okay, now it depends upon the upbringing, the qualities, and other factors which have been created impact on the person. Accordingly he will behave. Okay, therefore the natural law has a flexible meaning. Further, it is basically a priority method. Natural law is a priority method. Priority method to find the source of law, to find the answers from where the law has been developed, or what is the source or what is the authority behind the law. Therefore, this is known as a priority method, which is different from empirical method, which is different from empirical method. Empirical method means a practical method or a method which is developed by the Austin, which is different from empirical or practical. Practical means we have to show the definite cause and definite results. This is the practical nature which is defined by the Austin in his positivism. And therefore, the natural law is a priority method which is different from empirical method of Austin. Further, this this natural law accepts things and conclusions in relation to a subject as they are without any need or inquiry or observation. It natural law accept the things as they are. As they are means we have to accept the existence, we have to accept the identity of each and every human being. We cannot differentiate between them, means this is the pure concept of equality. We have to accept all the differences. We have to accept the person as it is in a natural manner. We cannot differentiate the person among different criterias like caste, sex, place of birth, creed, or religion, etc. We have to accept the things as they are. Further, the natural law says that it symbolizes physical law of nature, which is based on moral ideas which have universal applicability at all places and times. Natural law symbolizes means it accepts, it gives a hint towards the physical law of nature. Now, what is the physical law of nature? Physical law of nature. For example, a food chain is a physical law of nature, or the seeds of any tree or any fruit sown in the soil, then it becomes a plant becomes a tree has some fruits, again that fruit seeds goes in the soil. It means this is a cycle of nature which goes on, and therefore this physical law of nature is based on certain moral ideas. There is no fixed law in the nature, but the moral values, the basic instincts of every human being are morals which we find in the nature itself, and therefore this has a universal application. This has universal application means the natural law has a universal application at all places. This is applicable to all places and at all times. Means these are certain universal principles like ahimsa, that is a non-violence, and satya, that is the truth. These are the two principles which have been again propounded by Mahatma Gandhi. These principles have universal application. They are very much true in India as well as in America, in Africa, or in any part or in any corner of the world. These universal values are same. They were same at the time when the Gandhi was there. These principles, that is non-violence and truth, are also universal or of that much significance as of now also. And therefore, the natural law has a universal application. Further, the natural law can be equated with the further the natural law can be equated with the concept of rule of law, with the concept of rule of law in England and India, as well as it can be equated with the concept of due process. Now these are the modern concepts which the which are the development of natural law philosophy. These are the modern concepts now. Rule of law means in the arena where the positivism has a great significance. In this arena, the concept of rule of law or the concept of principles of natural justice and the due process, these concepts have been accepted by the modern jurists also, and therefore these concepts are nothing but the uh, it has a source in the natural law itself, and therefore the natural law is a very important source of law.